decipher, we try to understand those events, those stories, those happenings as reported by the dailies, and then we get to open the phone lines. We invite you to be a part of the flow. We share our thoughts, views, and opinions regarding those events and happenings as affects you and I, their country, our nation, and our world. Mondays to Saturdays, except Sundays, we are here, and that, in a nutshell, is what we do on Conversation. Like I said, our thoughts, views, and opinions are not the Alaga. That's our sister station in the Okogun area of the state, Agility FM, Gambari, Ogumosho, on the 92.1 FM dial. All over this great state, we are there, and beyond Oyo State, beyond the shores of Nigeria. Just latch on via the social media platform, and you are on to Conversation. Once again, wherever you are listening across the world, you are welcome. Going straight to the major headlines this morning. Obaseki, as the governor of Edo State, warns of tougher times ahead. Now I'm wondering what can be tougher than what we have already. What times can be worse than the times we are in already? But Governor Obaseki is assuring us that tougher times are coming. And it says Nigeria must focus on production, discourage dollarization of economy. And well, let's see some excerpts on what the governor actually means by us bracing up for tougher times. And if I'm to interpret that, it also means that things are not likely to get better any soon, unlike what is being promised. And I also remember the government at the national level promising that this year is the year of magic, and that things, some gave a December deadline among the politicians that things would begin to improve. But now, tougher times ahead means things are not going to get any better, according to Governor Obaseki. The Edo State Governor, Mr. Governor Obaseki, has predicted tougher economic times for the country due to the policies of the federal government, condemning the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to increase interest rate to 22.75%. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC of the CBN, had last week raised the monetary policy rate, MPR, also known as the benchmark interest rate, by 400 basis points to 22.75% from 18.75%. Now, Obaseki, according to a press statement by the Edo State Government House, spoke at the annual Edo Zone Bankers Committee dinner held in Benin City, the Edo State capital. He cited the potential effect of the interest rate increase by the CBN on businesses and the nation's economy, reiterating the need to focus on productive activities. I know sometimes I wonder if Mr. Obaseki is really a politician. He always has a way of hitting the nail on the head. The last time he was the one that blew the whistle and saying that the federal government was printing too much money and actually printing money to pay salaries. Well, I hope the governor is not letting out too much and is not talking too much, but it seems to me like he's telling us the truth about what is to come. Obaseki warns of tougher times ahead. Right, average, we're talking about tough times. Average retail price for refilling 5 kg cooking gas is 5,139 naira 25 kobo, and that's coming from the National Bureau of Statistics. So tough times indeed. And on looting, we're talking about the looting of food warehouses. Federal Capital Territory Authority to establish police posts in warehouses. Yes, you heard right. FCTA to establish police posts in warehouses. And when I saw this headline yesterday, what came to my mind? Well, the same police force that could not end banditry, that could not end terrorism, that could not end kidnapping, is now being deployed to guard food. And I guess they will be doing that very effectively, even if it has to come to, well, God forbid, opening fire on people who want to loot, the hungry Nigerians who want to loot the food warehouses. Well, all the reports I've seen so far regarding the looting of food warehouses across the country, the reports always say that residents people in the community, but the politicians prefer to label them as hoodlums. When the politicians speak, they will say hoodlums or suspected hoodlums. So, well, now that they are going to be establishing police posts in warehouses to guard food, well, I begin to wonder. Well, we also condemn the looting of public warehouses in its entirety. Well, it is criminal. It is actually a criminal act, but then certain developments led to this, and it is those developments that should be addressed to make sure it doesn't happen again. It didn't happen in the recent past. It didn't happen in the distant past. So it's happening now. So, and if the governor of Edo State is also warning of tougher times ahead, then people may continue to resort to such self-help as the times indeed get tougher. Nigeria's future was sold under last administration. Well, that's another governor that has been talking now. Talking about the governor of Plateau State, Mr. Caleb Moftuang. And okay, let's read a bit from that as well. I'm going to page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Economic hardship in Nigeria was sold under last administration. Governor Caleb Moftuang of Plateau State has attributed the present economic hardship in Nigeria to the bad economy inherited from the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, saying that Nigeria's future was sold under that administration. The governor, who stated this during the swearing in of special advisors at the government house in Jos, the state capital, on Monday, pointed out that the present administration, led by President Bola Tinubu, inherited a very bad economy, even though the federal government is being led by a party other than my own. I owe it a duty to tell Nigerians the truth that this government inherited a worse economic situation than 1999. This government inherited an economy where we simply printed money up to the tune of 30 trillion naira and shared it. Wow. This government inherited an economy where the crude oil that was yet to be taken out of the ground had been sold in advance. Damning revelations here. So when you are talking about the fall of the naira, it's not rocket science. We sold our future under the last administration. No wonder we are hearing of riots today. People intercepting food on the way. We are lucky on the plateau that perhaps we have more food than many other states. Well, I guess the problems of the plateau are quite peculiar and might be different from the problems of other parts of the country. Okay, the governor goes on, and I pray that a time will not come on the plateau that we will see this kind of riot for food, but it means we must roll over our sleeves and get to work, he said. Well, Mr. Governor, I will say if you are not seeing food riots now, you might be seeing it very soon if things do not get better. And as for saying Nigeria's future was sold under the last administration, well, I would say here we go again. The incumbent blaming the past, just like the Buhari government also blamed the previous government, the Jonathan administration, and it goes on and on and on. Enough of the blame game. Let's move forward. What are the solutions? How are we going to solve this problem? This is what we should be talking about. We'll have a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Oga Greg, you want to buy cough medicine again? Why haven't you gone for a test like I advised?
Test? Oga, this cough, you need to check am. When I had a bad cough that refused to go away, I went for a test and discovered I had tuberculosis. I was tested and treated for free. Now I'm fine.
Solomon is right, Oga Greg. Check am, make you dey sure, because who no go, no go no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB test and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 or dial *3340# for more information. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
mo ti ní tẹ́lẹ̀ kì í ṣogún ìní o tí o bá ní ìlà Glo kankan tí o ti sopọ̀ mọ́ NIN rẹ àǹfààní ìkẹyìn rẹ fún ọ láti sopọ̀ kí wọ́n bá bàa di ìlà rẹ. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o àjọ Nigerian Communication Commission NCC ti sọ pé tí o bá ti so NIN rẹ pọ̀ mọ́ ìlà Glo rẹ wọ́n máa di ìlà rẹ ni o sì ní ìkànsíra ẹni mọ́ o ní lè ṣe okòwò ọjà rẹ lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ o ní lè pè tàbí gba ìpè ṣe àtẹ̀ránṣẹ́ tàbí ṣíṣe àyẹ̀wò iye tó kù nínú àpò ìkówó ìgbowósí rẹ. Torí náà, má jẹ́ kó já ẹ kúrò. Tẹ *996# báyìí tàbí kí o rìn lọ sí ibùsọ̀ Glo tàbí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn aṣojú tí ń ṣe ìforúkọsílẹ̀ síìmù tí ó bá súnmọ́ ọ láti so NIN rẹ pọ̀ mọ́ ìlà Glo rẹ kí o sì wà digbí lórí ìlà rẹ títí láé. Tí o bá sì ní NIN, kàn lọ sí ọ́fíìsì NIMC nítòsí rẹ láti ṣètò tiẹ̀. Rántí, ọ̀fẹ́ ni ìforúkọsílẹ̀ síìmù o.
Unlimited.
Hello, property owners in Oyo State. Have you heard about OYPRS app? You need it. Download OYPRS app right away. It simply means Oyo State Property Reference System. OYPRS app helps you to retrieve your property identification number on the go. This means you will be able to pay your land use charges and other property related bills seamlessly. Go to Play Store or Apple Store on your mobile device. Download and install OYPRS app. Sign up with your preferred email, phone number and password. Please turn on your location for easy access. After that, log in with your email and password and follow the easy process. With this, you will be able to get your property details without any difficulty. It's a smart property identification service brought to you by Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Oyo State. For more information, log on to www.oyprs.ng or call 0700 696 52637.
Conversation. All right, we're back, and it's good to know you are still there. The program is still Conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM, and we are still taking major headlines from the dailies. Akeredolu's wife, Mrs. Betty Akeredolu, wife of the late governor of Ondo State, says Akeredolu's wife needs at loggerheads over support for Ayedatiwa. Oh, what's that all about? Okay. On to page 14 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Okay. It says, wife of the late governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, Mrs. Betty Akeredolu, and the late governor's niece, Funke Akeredolu Aruna, on Monday traded words for supporting the governorship bid of Lucky Ayedatiwa. The former First Lady lambasted her late husband's younger sister, who was former deputy chief of protocol in the state, for openly endorsing and supporting Ayedatiwa. In a social media post on Monday, Mrs. Akeredolu described Akeredolu Aruna as shameless and a serpent. Wow. For supporting Ayedatiwa, who is aiming to get the ticket of the ruling party ahead of the November 16 election. Mrs. Akeredolu wrote on her Instagram page, "Behold the face of Aketi's niece, Funke Akeredolu Aruna, the former deputy protocol to Aketi, shamelessly parades as I'm lucky. Bloody serpent. Time will tell if she is truly lucky," the widow said. The outburst came after Akeredolu Aruna pictures surfaced on social media campaigning for Ayedatiwa, donning an outfit and face cap in support of Ayedatiwa. However, the social media post of Mrs. Akeredolu generated outrage in social media, with critics calling on the widow to respect her husband and continue mourning rather than engaging in pettiness. Meanwhile, the response from Mrs. Akeredolu Haruna said the attack on her personality was needless, but purely political, alleging that it was designed to smear her image because she was close to the incumbent governor, Ayedatiwa. According to her, there was no need for the outburst, and she is old enough to decide and find a direction for her and where to pitch her tent. Well, I just hope they are able to resolve this. This could have been resolved at the family level, but like I said, I hope they are able to resolve this, and both sides will honor the memory of the departed. Ondo 2024, Akeredolu's wife, husband's niece at loggerheads over support for Ayedatiwa. PDP Ondo stakeholders brainstorm over Guba poll. Party releases timetable. Holds primary April 25. And we also have this one. Oyo health workers begin 7-day strike. Oyo health workers begin 7-day strike. And I was going to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, NUAHP, Oyo State on Monday commenced a 7-day warning strike over a 10-point demand from the state government. The union comprises medical laboratory scientists, physiotherapists, dental technologists, dental therapists, social workers, radiographers, nutritionists, and dietitians, hospital and administrative pharmacists. Chairman NUAHP Oyo State, Mr. Olanrewaju Ajani, announced the commencement of the strike at 7-day strike. And an official of the government, a top government official in the State Ministry of Health, they didn't name the official. They spoke with the Nigerian Tribune, and the official says government has been doing its best to attend to their needs. Well, maybe the government also needs to sit at the round table and hold further deliberations, dialogue. Well, dialogue is key in all this, and I hope the issues, matters at stake will be resolved soonest. Okay, moving on now. Ukraine's grain donation to Nigeria disheartening, says Peter Obi. That's the candidate of the Labour Party in the last presidential elections, and he says that he acknowledges the fact that Ukraine has been humane enough, and that's a result of shared humanity, Ukraine donating grain to Nigeria. But then Mr. Obi is sad that despite the huge resources at our disposal, that a country like Ukraine, which is even at war, has to donate grains to Nigeria, that even in their own precarious situation, the fact that they are grappling with a serious war situation at the moment, they can still donate grain to Nigeria, while we that we've been blessed with every resource, and we are not even at war, we are still unable to do what a country like Ukraine is doing. Ukraine's grain donation to Nigeria disheartening, says Peter Obi. Okay, going further to the inside pages of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Alaafin Atiba ruling house insists on right to throne. That's an update on the the struggle for the Alaafin stool. Alaafin Atiba ruling house insists on right to throne. Overbilling faulty transformers, metering glitches, top complaints received from Nigerians, says FCCPC, that's the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. And on alleged $6 billion Mambila fraud, Agunloye 6 AGF, NBA president orders intervention as the embattled former Minister of Power and Steel, Mr. Olu Agunloye, who is facing a $6 billion corruption charge. And says former Minister of Power and Steel, Mr. Olu Agunloye, charged before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) with alleged infractions in the Mambila hydroelectric plant, as sought the intervention of the Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and Minister of Justice and 3 other legal luminaries to participate in the hearing of his preliminary objection against the EFCC. The former minister also warns the president, Nigeria Bar Association (NBA) Yakubu Meikau, a former Minister of Justice, Chief Kanu Agabi, and the former NBA President, Joseph Daudu, to participate in the hearing of the motion on notice challenging the power of EFCC to prosecute him in the charge before the court. Well, EFCC is prosecuting Agule, who served as a minister in the government of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, on behalf of the federal government before Justice Jude Onwebuze, sitting at Abuja, on certain infractions regarding the Mambila power plant. Alleged $6 billion Mambila fraud, Agunloye 6 AGF, NBA orders intervention. Well, it may not certainly be the best of times for Mr. Olu Agunloye. On food security, state government stakeholders meet to expedite action on Agric Extension Bill. As Lagos government to support 5,000 farmers in tackling high cost of food. And VSF, that's the Victim Support Fund, empowers 3,000 peasant farmers with farming inputs in Borno. And also have Ekiti government advises youth to embrace agribusiness for self-reliance. Okay, so much about food security, so much about efforts to boost food production, so much about efforts to bring down the cost of food, and then the efforts is going on across the different states of the federation. And update on Oronsai report. We don't want job losses. ASCSN tells federal government seeks review inclusion of labor in implementation process. And okay, NASU here now. NASU tells federal government to pay with health salaries, or says the non-academic staff union of educational and associated institutions, NASU, has demanded that the federal government pay the salaries of its members withheld because of the prolonged 2023 industrial action. I'm trying to, well, I think they are threatening to down tools unless the federal government meets their demands. Alasho, you have more headlines from your hand.
Definitely. More headlines from my hand. Why Sims, previously linked to NIN, were bad. This is coming from the NCC. And on MPR, Obaseki falls CBN warns of tougher times ahead. And on Edo Guba, INEC opens candidates nomination portal. APC candidate Idaosa writes INEC. Okay. IPAC task parties on issues-based campaigns. And on electricity, discos reject 753 megawatts despite federal government's pressure. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for Wigwe as Dangote, Edo, Kadoso, Sanwo-Olu, Adesina, Hyde, Imokwede, others pay tribute. Oh, finally. The reality is done on us. How about Wigwe? No more with us. Same for the wife and their child.
And son, quite a tragedy.
Oh. All right. Nigeria-Qatar's collaboration, key to the future, says Musawa. That's the Minister of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, Hanato Musa Musawa.
Well, let's have the results. We were talking about this here yesterday, and we were very hopeful, and we also tried to sound the knell of hope among Nigerians. But then, enough of the talking. We've had such collaborations before, and then nothing seems to get any better. But this time around, so that's why I said we want results this time around.
We want results, yes.
Mr. President has been to Qatar. We know he has been to Qatar, and they told us what he went there to do. Now we want to start seeing the results as soon as possible.
He did a good PR. It shouldn't be mere rhetoric, playing to the gallery, as observed in the past. We want results, as you rightly said.
And they shouldn't be what Mr. Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, is telling us this morning. Well, it seems to be telling the home truth, but I still, somewhere in the depth of my heart, I don't want to believe Mr. Obaseki. He says that if you brace up for tougher times ahead. And my first question was, what can be tougher than what we are having presently? But
well, Obaseki appears to be an economist or in the private sector before becoming the governor of Edo State. And you recall, during the Buhari administration, he equally raised the alarm, warned us of tougher days ahead, and also revealed certain policies or actions of government and how monies were being printed. The Naira was being printed to settle certain things.
Unfortunately, he has always been right, Seun.
Well, we ignored him then. In fact, the authorities said, oh, he was just playing opposition. But the reality is done on all of us now. Now Obaseki again is talking tough. warning us, and it has to do with the monetary policy of the government. The governor has predicted tougher economic times for the country due to bad economic policies by the federal government, allegedly aggravated by the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to increase the interest rate to 22.75%. We made mention of this yesterday, and I said it is antithetical to our drive to prosperity and economic growth. You cannot have the interest rate at over single digit. Not even, we are not talking about 10%, you're not talking about 11, 12, 22%. That's on the high side. How do you drive home economic growth? It's practically impossible. But they will give you reasons for their decision. He also mentioned the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, of the CBN, and why they raised the monetary policy rate, MPR, also known as the benchmark interest rate, by 400 basic points. Initially, it was 18%, now to 22%. It's one of tougher times when your monetary policy and fiscal policy seems to be contradictory, and you also add the interest, the interest rate to it, and other factors. Well, we just hope they listen.
Tougher times ahead, to me, like I said, means that things are not going to get any better anytime soon.
As the implication, it means more jobs will be lost. It means more production plants will be shut. It means more companies will leave the shores of this country. It means we will largely be dependent on importation. It means that food insecurity, clothing insecurity, other items, basic needs insecurity could cave in. Could manifest. So, and if we are complaining of this time, how tough the time is. Some are lamenting that in the history of their life and this country, it has never been tough this way. They said it's like living in hell for them. Now imagine if it's tougher than this. I hope people won't be dropping dead on the streets.
And what can be worse than hell?
Federal government to hold zonal public hearings on the minimum wage. You know why I smile or laugh? Oh. Okay, this is, I don't know. They have their tripartite committee. So aside that, you still want to do public hearing. I seek the opinion of the people of the geopolitical zones.
What you do, you know, when they were, who did they consult? Did they hold public hearing when they were voting 7 billion naira to buy bulletproof SUVs for themselves? Did they hold any public hearing on that?
Okay, let them come to the public. Let them come to us, and we shall tell them what we feel is commensurate as minimum wage in this biting hard economy. The NSC is proposing 1 million naira. If they ask some people on the street, they could say, give them 5 million, 10 million. And thereafter, well, some dissenting, divergent views. They can come up with a report and tell that by popular opinion or demand, majority of the public want 35,000 or 40 or maximum 50.
You know what I think, Seun? I always alluded to this example when way back in primary school when the teacher would ask you to work some arithmetic on the blackboard and they would stand behind you with a cane. Now, whether you are good at that sum or not, you are aware that the teacher is behind you with a cane. You dare not look back. And when the teacher says that you are getting it wrong and he knows that you are not supposed to get it wrong, having taught you the sum severally, so the cane lands on your back, and you're also very worried that the cane can land anytime soon with trepidation. So where am I going with this, Seun? I think all the ballers and all the community leaders, all the mortgagees and the Agule leaders that will be invited to those public hearings, I think the NLC and the TUC, the organized labor, should also make themselves their presence very heavily felt in those places. So they should take the place of the teacher with the cane.
Okay.
So that when the ballets, when they say what they are not supposed to say, and when they do what they are not supposed to do. So I'm not advocating violence here, but then the elders at the TUC, they would know what to do.
Okay.
So
well, you are just being to me, you are just trying to give an ideal situation and try to open the eyes of the organized labor. But I doubt if they still have that mettle, that courage to do what you've said, and if they are in that advantageous position to do that. Recall they've been tagged derogatorily, toothless bulldog. It's only protest that they can really organize well, and threat of industrial action. But sometimes when it's required of them, positive actions from them, they seem to hibernate or look the other way. But this time around, maybe they take a cue from what you've said and take the bull by its horn and force the government, if possible, force the government to reason along with you and give Nigerians the ideal minimum wage. To me, the public hearing is just a delay tactics.
It's a strategy, it's a gimmick. Like you said, they will now tell you that is what Nigerians are saying, and that, of course, workers are not the only people to be.
They are not the only voice of the people.
And you now start, and from the governors, you start hearing things like, "I was not elected to pay salaries alone."
As usual.
As usual, the usual rhetorics.
Now, well, let's wait as the event unfolds on that. I wonder if the stakeholders, I mean those involved, the parties involved, I wonder if they've shown any level of seriousness. The organized labor and even the government. Since when has the subsidy been removed? Over 8 months now. You cannot kickstart almost immediately. Negotiation on minimum wage. They are not giving you wage award, flat rate. How sustainable is that? Is that what is required under this economy? Shuke. Allow them to be wasting your time and buying more time. Delay taxes and be using your brain. Okay. You go here when? On insecurity, we raid Yoruba land of criminals. Others, Southwest Security Group says, begs governors to support initiative. Obasanjo to African youths. Suicide won't solve the problems. Yes, I believe. But when the frustration is so high, when the hopelessness also high, when you live as a youth and appears you are a burden to yourself and your society, suicide not the solution. Yes. But we should be gainfully employed. We should also be given conducive environment to express our innate talent and fulfill our potentials in life as youths.
And Baba should also remember that yes, he had humble beginnings, but then he had the best of times as a Nigerian youth. He became the leader of this country.
Yes, head of state. He was in his 30s or so.
His 30s. So Baba might not really understand what the
poverty, joblessness, and other ills associated with the youths, what it means, because as from his youthful age, he started enjoying the fruits of Nigeria.
But then Baba also had normal beginnings. He had the same time of struggle. But then I would say the better part of his youth, the time of enjoyment was more than the time of struggle.
Yes, yes, I agree. And to others,
all due respect to Baba.
And yes, to some, humble beginning, middle see humble, at old age they are still humble because they never tasted wealth, not the best of life, not goodies of life. They've not been privileged to taste that, and they're in their old age now, still wallowing in poverty and lack. And many of our youths too, humble beginning, at that age and stage of their life that they have the energy to either to enjoy life or to be productive or to think things for good, change the narrative of this country. They are not given the opportunity to do so. It's unfortunate. On hardship, sees rise food items to be distributed soon, says Oyo and Ogun Customs. Yes, we want those items be distributed, but it should be done in a very logical manner, in a secured environment, and they should ensure that there is even distribution of these items to different parts of the state, the nooks and crannies of the state, to avoid stampede and other stories that touch.
I guess that's the reason for the delay, to map out strategies to avert the ugly situation that unfolded in Lagos State.
On withheld salaries, patients running out. Sano Nasu tells federal government. I thought it's only ASU that they are owing. So Sano and Nasu self. Okay. In the banking sector becoming cesspool for fraudulent activities. This is coming from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Well, for me, I think the EFCC is very, very, very correct. The sector is indeed a cesspool of corruption. From the minutest things, such as the process of obtaining loans from them, and then they bring up all sorts of terms and conditions which they didn't tell you about before. And then they try to make you perpetually enslaved to them.
Yes, sir.
And when it comes to paying back your loans, they deviate from the original agreement.
They do multiple deductions.
You are very correct.
Even when you've settled ideally your indebtedness to them, they still tell you certain terminologies and bring certain clauses and tell you, no, you violated this, violated that. That's one. They've been conniving, as alleged, and by my own suspicion and observation, conniving with criminal elements in the society.
Terrorists.
You therefore.
They move funds.
And bandits. And other forms of criminals. They've been conniving with them, aiding and abetting their activities, their criminal activities. It is difficult to get them to correct transactions, legitimate ones, or compliance from real customers, the ones who are law abiding, for a month for their own failures. As the sender, the receiver didn't get the alert, his account not credited, you lodge the complaint, you have to wait, or they give you excuses.
And they always act as if they are doing you a favor.
And when it comes to allowing the bank accounts of terrorists and bandits have lodgements in millions of naira from innocent Nigerians who are unfortunately their abductees. They are you as a citizen with your legitimate business lodge what is beyond what should be lodged in your account. They quickly raise the alarm or call the anti-graft agency for your security.
They freeze your account and ask you to come and explain. Even if as little as #1 million goes into your account and that kind of money has not entered your account before, they immediately sit on your money and ask you to come and explain. Whereas proceeds of many of the banks are run with proceeds of corruption.
Yes, proceeds of crime, corruption. So many atrocities going on in the banking sector.
And the FCC just confirmed.
Not to talk of the economic aspect too. You look for dollar in the banks, you can't get. The ones given to them by CBN, allegedly, they find their way to the hands of or the shops of the bureau de change operator. And you wonder how it's so accessible and the bureau de change operator stand than have it in the commercial banks. This is Nigeria. On hardship, Governor Eno to introduce vouchers for subsidized food. A good one. Is it not the same governor that said Friday will be for free drink and enjoyment in the state? Okay. Faji Kelele governor. Flood sends rivers residents and companies packing. And brain drain, how federal government can prevent imminent health system collapse. They better listen. Let's quickly open the phone line. Occasional, in between, we shall give more headlines. 0805 500 9850. 0805 500 9850. Hello and good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Do we have to call us back? 0805 500 9850. 0805 500 9850. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is Ola from UI.
Good to have you.
Now, the issue of going in each geopolitical zone to negotiate the minimum wage. So when the Senate people want to buy their jeep, can't go anywhere. Now, they are just using all. They are using us to make money. Because those delegates that they will say, they will get their own share of the money. So we are not going to take it lightly with them. I have a professor. He lives at Olodo. Every day he buys well of 6,000 naira. And how much is the palliative giving to us? That's 5,000 naira. Don't worry. They will see that is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, whatever we are going to do, let us abide by the dictates of the law.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing.
There's no resort to violence and destruction of public peace. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Sir. Good morning, Sir. I'm Gideon. What you read this morning about the federal government saying they are going to, I like the car meeting again from different zones in the country. It buttress what we already know. Everybody already know that they are using delayed practice, as you said in session. But the labor movement supposed to have known this. They should have been ahead of the government in knowing this. That's why they are labor unions. You should know what the practice and negotiation and all that. Someone who has removed subsidies since May last year. We have not even reached a conclusion of what we want to collect as salary March following year. So by the time they delay you for 1 year, then they start paying and just 45,000 naira minimum wage or 50,000 naira. It's not even reach, I don't think it's even going to reach 50,000 naira. And they are not, they can really go and sit down. The civil servants are not the only people in the country. Labor unions should up their game. Federal government is using the data taxes, and labor unions should know this. But it shows the sincerity of the government. If you want to know a good government, you know their relationship with the people. You know through their relationship with the people. A government that loves tokenism, giving people sweet and dundu and all that come and collect this. Like the governor you mentioned the other time that he said he used to donate food every Friday. Do people need all those things? People need things to get cheap. Maybe you bring in food, let it sell to the people cheap. People don't want to be collecting for free. They want to buy it, but they want the product to be affordable. That's what people want. But by the time you are giving it away, it shows that you are doing one of Euro somewhere. So Nigerian people should wake up and stop following politicians. So thank you.
Thank you.
We are concerned over violence in southern Kaduna and others, says Governor Sani, inaugurates committee to resettle displaced communities. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Alaji.
This is Alaji Ayula Bugu calling from Lalate.
Good to have you, sir.
I want to give it to our state governor when he met those who are protesting that come to the round table for him to discuss about the increase in the salary of the workers. Same thing should be done up above there. Let the government up there they let them be welfare rich. They should look at the welfare of the workers. At least people are now aware that there's actual poverty and the price of commodities are skyrocketing. So they should do the necessary instead of wasting time. Regional, NSC is one, and they should not decide them. On the people, I don't.
We can hear you.
Now, on the people who look at Abuja, that is not, it's so condemned. Why? They should have put heads that there is food inside an area where people should be aware that government should give it out instead of go there to loot. Some people will even loot and resell those commodities, those foods. So that one is condemned. I like the Ayala from Lanlaka.
Alright, thank you. So they said some of those who looked at the food in Abuja were coming from a worship center.
Ah.
And that there was a particular person that he was worshiping, and then all of a sudden they saw that he was the only one left. And he wondered, where did everybody go? He found out that everyone had gone to partake.
And that reminds us of the story that when Christ comes back, one will be picked, the others will be left. That many will go through the path of hell, but maybe just few will follow that small narrow path that leads to heaven.
Hello, good morning. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
It's unfortunate. Is the federal government saying workers' salary is to be decided by the public?
They intend to do public hearing.
It appears that's what they are saying.
Okay, and what impact will that have?
The public will have a say. They may not have their way, or they could still have their way, but organized by federal government anyway. Public hearing.
When it comes to the third tiers, our legislators paying their salary and buying them cars, not ordinary cars, so the public were never allowed to have a say. Well, maybe I don't want to say we are possessed, but it's unfortunate. God will save us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, so if you can't beat them, you join them. But that is criminal.
It is.
It is condemnable, highly condemnable. I will condemn it in its totality. Yes, we know there is hardship in the land, but these trucks of food items, truckloads of food items, belongs to other businessmen and women too. Some of them not from federal government. And we should be very careful so that we don't have our own blockade somehow of food items coming down south. When the truck owners and the drivers and the business people knew that they are not safe again and their business could run to jeopardy by looting, they will stop bringing those food items here. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Dele from Oshobo. My submission this morning is I want to advise the youth. The way thing is going, the youth need to stand up. Because the way these old people are governing us is not fair. Considering the way the administration of government of Central Bank, Minister of Finance, EFTC, all these things, they are not, it's like they don't want us to have a provision for future for the children. And it's not good. They don't want them to have cash in hand. They don't want them to have cash at bank. All this is palliative. Would they be better for the rest of their life? You don't give them job. You are talking to their fight, they are loot. What will happen to your hungry man? Somebody suffering for 5 days, 10 days, and he say food somewhere, nobody say, what will you think? We say criminal, but they come. Please, the youth, gear up. It's time to wake up. If you are in the system with them now, you better know and help your others to get care, to get the other people there and make the right thing for the people. Because this subsidy, we don't know what is going on. There's no sincerity in this subsidy. Look at what the president is doing in another country. He say, if you want to get contract, don't allow them, don't bribe them. Is that another? He said, why say the youth are lazy? Where are we going? Don't bribe them. Who are these people? Is Lagos what should not be bribed? Or what is it? Who is it that they should not bribe? They should not bribe. They should report to him of all the work you have, of all the loaded work you have on your table. They could come and report to somebody collect bribery for me because I want to have contract. Or they should report to General, or the Federation, or EFTC, or the Governor General. My brother, where are we going? What kind of thing is that? They're not doing this level. Youth, I beg, anywhere you are, stand up and work for your success. These people are not have it. No, there is hope. I don't know the meaning of that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Tola, someone called and made reference to joining of protests by the governor of your state and the call for amicable resolution and roundtable discussion. So I recall what a friend told me recently. He said, if we say roundtable, where else do you use find the roundtable again? Rather than have the roundtable, what you now have is dining table. They call them for dinner. And they offer them food, and after whining and dining, they still say thank you, sir. Especially when they have gift. That the days of vibrant unionism, when they are at each other's throat and demanding for your right at all costs is gone. They are now the mouthpiece of the chief executive.
Even nuns, some the leadership of nuns that recently came visiting the Oyo State governor, and I was seeing people looking as old as myself, saying that they were
go school, go course in
and saying that they were students and that they are supposed to be the leadership.
They two seller students. It's themselves.
And I'm sure.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Seun and TOLA.
Good morning, sir.
May the peace of the Lord be with you in Jesus' name. I think that who is calling from Okeo.
Good to have you, Baba.
Yeah, several times I heard for Nigerian politicians and economists, prophet, governor, government, ambassador of Edo State has expressed. In fact, I want to say has prophesied again. The future has been sold. Those who know have declared it, and I said it before. So this declaration is no news. We have known it, we have seen it, and we have said it before, long time ago, when the immediate past administration was seriously committed to selling the future of Nigeria. The drivers who drove Nigerian vehicle to the present comatose point are now moving freely, enjoying the loot from Nigerian Commonwealth. Then, they were transparently lying to us. When we were raising eyebrows, they were lambasting and lampooning us. Now we are in mess and facing tougher future. So when and where there are no consequences for corruption, corruption continues. So President Tinubu, I charge you again today, rise up, take the bull by the horn, deal with corruption. My strong belief is that if corruption is dealt with squarely, Nigeria will bounce back to glory again. Anything other than this is a mere child's play. Thank you, Adedado from OK. God bless Nigeria.
Amen. And God bless you too. We really appreciate you for your calls, for always enjoying conversation with us on this platform. We have to go.
So check the time is 7:30 and we have to go. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And I remain yours faithfully, Seun Oyelo. Spotted Bit is next. Victor Opone is fully loaded, ready to deliver. Victor, good morning to you.
A wonderful morning. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm so excited to be right here. Dishing out all the stories. We have games today in the Champions League. Yesterday, action in the NPFL. Coach Tola's team got a victory away from home, and they almost tear-gassed them. And of course, Seun's team at the Arcadia Arena yesterday, they could not do much on the pitch. But then, here he is with his suit, and he's laughing and all of that. We'll forget about it, maybe today we'll have better performance. But at least his team's performance was better than my own.
Someone said Seun had too much to eat before going on the field. So maybe that's and that slowed him down.
This kind of players, I don't know. Coach will teach them, but no, it's what is inside their head that they want to do. Anyways, we also have athletes ready to represent us at the All Africa Games in Ghana, and I'm taking Coach TOLA there with me. We're going to teach some of those ladies how to, because it's their pictures I'm seeing splattered all over the papers, all day. So I know Coach TOLA knows how to handle matters with the ladies when it comes to teaching them.
He's gonna learn from you.
I don't know about that.
All right, Sport Tidbit next with Victor Opone.
From the hotel, I'm a gunner ready to shoot. Two fingers